Last thing I'm going to say right now regarding the filet of fish topic at McDonald's. Some of you have texted in saying that you have to eat it with large fries and ketchup and an extra large Diet Coke. Okay, stop. Mm-hmm. If the sandwich cannot be eaten by itself and be enjoyable, then the sandwich is a problem. I'll leave it at that. All right? Welcome in. Good morning. We'll get more to that if we have time for it.
I always enjoy the unhealthy food order with a Diet Coke.
Yeah, touche. So up in Platte County, this is not nearly getting the attention that it should, but David Stokes, Director of Municipal Policy with the Show Me Institute, Missouri-based think tank, is joining us on KCMO. They are considering some TIFs up there in Platte County. David, what's going on?
Morning, Pete. And before we get into TIF, I cannot let what you just said go. I love the filet of fish sandwich. And I am
dump him. He's done.
In.
He's done. He's not invited back on the show. All right. John, is that clear? David Stokes is done on KCMO Talk Radio.
He's preaching to the choir over here.
It's worth the sacrifice, Pete. I love that sandwich.
My goodness. Gosh, I
move
really,
on.
I thought highly of you, David, up until about 30 seconds ago.
Well, we'll go next time I'm in Kansas City, we'll go out for a Happy Meals and see what we can put in it here.
Okay, well, all right. Don't interpret that the wrong way there in the audience. Go ahead, David. Tell me what's going on in Platte County.
All right. Pete, we talk about tax increment financing and other subsidies so often, and it's as much as it seems to be, in a large city thing, Kansas City, St. Louis, whatever. It's important to remember that these things are happening around the state. And in Parkville, they're in southeast Platte County, right by Kansas City. They've got a TIF hearing tonight, in fact, on the latest expansion of their Creekside TIF. And it's just this TIF looks like it's for about another $35 million in taxpayer subsidies up there at the intersection of 435 and 45. And it's getting very, very little attention. And it's just unfortunate that it's getting so little attention because there's a lot of taxpayer money at stake here, and it's frustrating to see these types of subsidies expanding further and further around the state of Missouri.
Well, I agree. And here's the thing. I mean, this is one of those deals where Republicans and Democrats both like it, right? Because Democrats, love subsidizing just about anything. And then Republicans view it as a way to spur economic growth or something like that. So I feel like it's not even a party issue. It's more of a, politician versus Main Street issue where they feel like they need to pick winners and losers or something like that.
It's absolutely not a party issue. You're dead right. I wish that there were, you see this in cities and suburbs around the state where local officials who they may think of themselves conservative, Republican, whatever, but then they're only too happy to roll out the red carpet for new development in their community. And they're only too happy to give a special deal to one politically favored developer. And it's extremely frustrating. Look, Platte County, I'm going to say it, Platte County does not have high taxes. There's no earnings tax in Parkville, Obviously there is in Kansas City in Platte County. There's no earnings tax in Parkville. The commercial surtax is incredibly low in Platte County. I think it's 36 cents per hundred. This is the tax, remember, that Clay County lowered last year from $1.59 to $1.44. In Platte County, it's tiny compared to Jackson and Clay County. They don't need special deals for this developer up at the Creekside TIF up there. They just need, if they need to make taxes even lower for everybody in Platte County, then go ahead and do it. But do it for everybody, including this development, not just the TIF. And, of course, it has the SID and the TDD and the extra sales taxes that are going to be unknowingly paid for by the shoppers that are going to go into the pockets of the developers. It's really frustrating to see these things expanding around the state.
Well, I could not agree more. And here's the concern, too, right? Like in Kansas City, people are going to notice what's going on. The media is going to cover it a bit. But when this stuff is happening in Parkville, let's be honest, David, they can do it. And frankly, no one's going to pay attention for the most part outside of you and a handful of others. We'll focus on it when we know about it. but this is not going to get the attention where people are going to be able to hold their city council's feet to the fire, unfortunately.
It's not. This was brought to our attention by a local activist in Platte County there who's very concerned by it. But right, this is, Parkville's not a small town. There's a lot of people there. But to your point, we have so many small towns and counties with few people in Missouri. And as the media shrinks, daily papers, even rural papers are going away. Mm-hmm. There's no coverage for so much of this.
Yes.
And the way you hold people to the feet to the fire is through aggressive local media trying to cover it. And it's great that you like to talk about this so much, but I haven't seen any newspaper stories on this. This information came to us via a local activist who saw it in sort of an obscure public notice. It wasn't like a newspaper article about it. It was a paid public notice. And so much of this happens. And as former United States Senator Everett Dirksen said, $1 million here, $1 million there. Pretty soon you're talking real money. And that's how it is with these tips. Now they're just putting another $30 million subsidy through here, and people are acting like it's nothing, but it really adds up. And Parkville has 3 tips in the city, according to the state auditor. It's not like they don't do this very often, and it's not like it doesn't result in the long run on higher taxes for everybody else, because it does.
Yeah. No, I mean, it'd be great if we had a newspaper that covered this kind of stuff, but we got a paper in town who's too busy calling all of us racist. So, that's what the Kansas City Star does, unfortunately. So, I mean, just take me through, David, people can be vigilant. They can hopefully pay attention to what their city councils are doing, and they will continue to do that. But, man, it's an uphill slog, as you well know, because it crosses party lines, and it seems like once people get into city councils, whether it's in Kansas City or Parkville or Overland Park, they're all too happy to help out their developer friends, or new friends, I should say, who are able to, kick them campaign donations and whatnot.
They are, and I love the phrase new friends and developers once they get into office. The hearing is tonight at 5:30, and it's at Parkville City Hall, and I'd love to see people from the town get out and spread the word. It's a public meeting. I hope some people get there, and I hope people on the city council see that there's opposition to this. But it's so often these things just fly so under the radar, and that leads. I hear all the time from city councils, well, it's popular. Nobody showed up to oppose it. Well, we know from the polling that many people do not support corporate welfare, and many people do support the idea of maintaining a low, consistent tax rate for everybody. But you're right. It's hard to get people to show up at the meetings. It's hard to get people to contact elected officials. It's hard to get ordinary people who are busy working and raising kids and trying to find a few minutes to relax at night to attend something like this. And the urban planning the developer subsidy complex of urban planners and developers and financiers, everybody who makes money off this thing, they benefit from that lack of coverage.
Yes.
And they thrive in it. Mm-hmm. They thrive in the vacuum of attention.
It's very well said. David Stokes with the Show Me Institute. Always great to have him on. Unfortunately, it's the last time he's ever going to be on the show since he's a filet of fish guy. But it's been good knowing you, David. I've enjoyed our relationship. We'll talk to you never.
Thank you so much, Pete. And a lot of information on tax increment financing and other subsidies at showmeinstitute.org.
All right. David Stokes, don't worry. He'll be back. Good to have him on KCMO Talk Radio.